A velvet invitation still warm from the printer, a whispered vow beside the polo field, and a seating plan that might bring two estranged brothers shoulder to shoulder step inside the Windsor wedding, plotting to mend hearts and headlines in one unforgettable day. He was flicking a speck of grass from his blazer after the Guards Polo Club fundraiser when the call came through. "Peter's finally done it," Harriet said. "Yes. We're going big." Prince William's grin stretched wider than the Berkshire horizon, and for a heartbeat the heir apparent looked 17 again, back when cousins' gang meant tree climbing, waterbombing, and swapping secrets across Balmoral corridors. Now those same corridors echo with history's heavier tread, but the invitation in William's hand promises a flash of the old mischief and a challenge that would test any future king's composure. His eldest cousin, Peter Phillips, wants him not merely watching from a front pew but standing center stage, best man sash ready, jokes pre-approved by the Lord Chamberlain, heart firmly on sleeve. Peter, 47, the quiet anchor of Princess Anne's brood, chose his moment with surgical precision, a Friday exclusive to Hello, that ricocheted across breakfast screens faster than marmalade slides off hot toast. Engagement confirmed, details sparse, speculation volcanic. Harriet Sperling, NHS pediatrician, compassionate eyes, resilience forged in night shift corridors, approved by Camilla over royal Ascot bubbles, charmed the king with a deft remark about vitamin D and grouse moors. The palace statement dripped courtesy, Instagram reels gushed romance. Yet behind the velvet press release the guest list logistics began to crunch like carriage wheels on gravel. For William the request is more than familial favor, it's emotional boomerang. 10 years ago he stood best man for his brother beneath Westminster's fan-vaulted stone, practicing the speech in Clarence House corridors, palms sweating despite military drill. 2 years later Harry returned the honor, sliding Catherine's signet into William's hand seconds before St. George's choir lifted the roof. Since then, frost, fissures, oceans. A Sussex silhouette hovers over every royal gathering like a drone nobody grounded. Bring them together at a Gloucestershire Isle and flashbulbs will strobe headlines, reunion or relapse. The stakes are embroidered into every monogrammed napkin. None of that deters Peter. If anything, it emboldens him. He has always thrived in the shadow gap, senior enough to open county shows, free enough to flog Land Rovers without courtiers panicking. Now he is calling in a lifetime of cousinly collisions, the time William bruised his knee playing capture the flag, Peter carrying him piggyback across nettles, the night they snuck Cocoa Pops from Balmoral pantry while Princess Anne's corgis barked revolt. He wants that camaraderie at his altar, and he believes Harriet's kindness can magnetize fractured family shards into one sparkling mosaic, at least for a day. Within Buck House the ripple reaches and study first. The Princess Royal reads the draft program, taps a finger on the line that places William to her son's right, exhales through her nose, a sound equerries know as satisfaction tempered by realism. She telephones the Prince of Wales. Brief words, warm undercurrent, a gentle reminder that best man is not mere title but toil. Polo ponies must yield to speechcraft, ribbon cuttings make room for rehearsal dinners, and William's calendar already wheezes under Regency-level weight. He answers the only way he can, for Pete, anything. The tabloids, sensing narrative gold, spin potential drama like candyfloss. Will Meghan cross the Atlantic? Can Harry stomach a reception where every champagne flute glitters with Fleet Street judgment? Kensington sources plead ignorance, Montecito insiders remain sphinx-like. Yet one nugget leaks, Harriet's daughter Georgia and Peter's teenage girls Savannah and Isla will share bridesmaid duties, rainbow dresses swirling like healing brushstrokes across a decade of Windsor tension. Children, after all, carry no grudges. While front pages dissect seating hierarchies, William meets Peter at a discreet Cotswold pub, the kind with ceiling beams low enough to discourage paparazzi lenses. No entourage, 2 pints, 1 dog snoozing beneath the varnished bench. Peter slides over a notebook thick with handwritten plans. Harry's on page 2, he jokes, best not spill ale on it. William scans, nods, taps biro on margins each time logistics brush security red lines. Best man duties sprawl, organizing stag weekend, low-key, Scottish Highlands, no Vegas reruns, liaising with choirmaster, scripting toast that threads Windsor tradition with Philip's irreverence. The heir's eyes gleam, speeches may terrify but they also offer chance to steer public mood, Pivot headlines from rift to reunion with one perfect punchline. That night Catherine finds her husband pacing, muttering anecdote options. She offers advice seasoned by a dozen royal banquets: keep it honest, keep it tight, land one gentle tease then pivot to warmth. She reminds him Harriet saved ventilator supplies during that brutal pediatric RSV spike. Mention it. She suggests including Autumn Kelly in sentimental nod. Peter's first marriage ended, yes, but their co-parenting remains blueprint for amicable aristocracy. William scribbles, rips sheet, starts again. By dawn he has 3 pages, one jokey, one statesmanlike, one raw heart. He'll splice them later. Across the border in Norfolk, word reaches Harry via mutual friend: Pete wants the original gang back together. The Sussex camp is cautious, California commitments, documentary lenses lurking, Meghan's schedule tethered to Archwell board meetings. Yet the thought of standing shoulder to shoulder with William, even briefly, prickles nostalgia. Harry texts Peter congratulations, sprinkling emojis, asks for phone chat. It is a start. Queen Camilla, newly minted matriarch of smoothing oils, invites Harriet for afternoon tea at Clarence House. Fine porcelain, gentle interrogation cloaked in grandmotherly concern: are you ready for flashbulb warfare? Have you chosen designer? Camilla confides memories of her own wedding week nerves, the lace sample that split under pressure, the relief of stepping into silk shaped by trust rather than trend. Harriet leaves clutching family pearls on loan, tiny beads yet heavy with acceptance. Meanwhile, royal diary managers shuffle blocks like Rubik's cubes to insulate wedding week from state visits. Rumor places the ceremony in late spring, St. George's Chapel favored but Highgrove's walled gardens whispered as plan B for smaller crowd. Either location radiates symbolism. St. George's revived after pandemic, pews glimpsed in millions of live streams. Highgrove would mark first large-scale next-generation celebration on Charles's private turf, a soft power message that the King's Green Sanctuary hosts not just roses but renewal. Security teams map scenarios. If Harry attends, he'll require specialist protection outside metropolitan coverage. Cost debates ignite column inches. William privately signals willingness to share resources, family first, budgets later, an olive branch that may sprout or wither depending on July headlines. Somewhere in Elmbridge a bridal consultant unboxes swatches, Harriet gravitates to understated British couture, whisper of Gloucestershire hedgerow embroidery along hem. She declines tiara talk, not her pedigree, not her comfort zone. Instead she imagines a fresh flower circlet, nod to NHS shifts where latex gloves trump diamonds. The Nation's fashion editors ready the term Harriet effect. Through it all William rehearses. Driving between homelessness site visits he mouths lines, hands flick off indicators as he times cadence to roundabout exits. His private secretary records, critiques, deletes. One late night he pings Peter a voice memo: remember Aunt Sarah's dachshund escaping under the picnic marquee at Balmoral? Might weave that in, okay? Laughter emoji returns. Approved. When engagement photos drop, Hazel Woodlands, casual tweed, Harriet's daughter squeezed between future stepsisters, the public swoons. Yet the image watchers zoom on subtle detail, William's silhouette in background reflection holding photographer's light reflector. The palace neither confirms nor denies, but the internet decides the best man is already on set. Spring quickens, ivy fattens on chapel stone. Invitations embossed with intertwined P&H crest glide into diplomatic bags and courier vans. Recipients note the script, by order of Princess Royal and with blessing of their majesties. A subtle hierarchy shift and steering ceremony, King endorsing, William spotlight but not sovereign stand-in. Courtiers smile at the choreography. 3 weeks out, Harry's RSVP arrives, delighted to attend, will travel solo, Meghan sends wishes. The phrase ignites speculation but William's camp exudes calm, fewer variables, easier seating plan. Privately William exhales, less glare on Catherine, more oxygen for olive branches. He tasks speechwriter to insert nod to brothers in arms and life. Rehearsal day dawns crisp. St. George's nave smells of beeswax and anticipation. William strides in first, script tucked against sword sash, heart thumping enough to rattle medal ribbons. Peter clap hugs him, whispers, whatever you say, Just don't mention the polo injury. William winks, too late, top of page 2. Laughter echoes along cloisters, sound of cousins snapping back into hooligan harmony. Outside, cameras crouch, capturing handshake snapshots between William and Harry as they leave rehearsal side door. The moment is brief, genuine, unscripted, the first handshake unmediated by protocol since the coronation pew shuffle. Tabloid front pages swirl. Truce? Social feeds divide. Some call PR pantomime, others cry tears onto screens. Inside Windsor walls, Princess Anne allows herself a tight smile. Maybe, just maybe, bread and butter unity begins with wedding cake crumbs shared. Ceremony day, bells peal, horses stamp, daffodils nod over lower ward. Harriet steps from vintage Aston, gown whispering of meadow air, smile bright enough to bounce sunlight off chapel armor. William waits by Peter's shoulder, palms UN-sweated thanks to talc secret borrowed from the late Duke. He scans pews, Charles dignified but WN, Camilla beaming, Catherine luminous, Harry 2 rows back, eyes glassy but warm. As vows seal, a shaft of stained glass light crowns the quartet of Philip's Windsor children huddled giggling. Photographers produce career-defining shots. Reception hums inside the engine yard, speeches commence. William clears throat, opens with dachshund anecdote, laughter erupts. He pivots to Harriet's ICU nights, Peter's grounding humor, salutes their blended family, thanks a brother whose Atlantic mileage proves blood beats distance, nod at Harry met by clink of glasses rather than icy silence. Finally he quotes Princess Anne's mantra, show up, do the work, no fuss, and toasts the bride who embodies it. Cameras capture and wiping corner eye, though later she blames dust. By twilight the dance floor throbs to Cayley fiddles. William loops Catherine, Harry spins Savannah, the king departs early yet smiling. Outside, journalists type feverishly but even the sharpest pen cannot deny atmosphere, affection, relief, tentative repair. And somewhere beyond floodlit ramparts a future monarch exhales, realizing that sometimes the most powerful duty isn't a state opening or global summit, but holding a microphone steady while family stitches itself together around love's simplest vow. The nation may debate speeches and seating charts tomorrow. Tonight the Windsor gang is back, older, scarred, but laughing under string lights, proving that chaos can ripen into kinship when a best man speaks from the heart. So pour your thoughts below. Did William's performance persuade you the rift is healing, or does one handshake not a summer make? Tap like, subscribe, and keep your notification bell polished, because if this wedding can spark royal détente, imagine what the coronation of friendship might sound like next.